So, how do people actually end up loving what they do for a living? I mean, it's a huge question, right? We spend so much of our lives at work. Well, in his book, So Good They Can't Ignore You, Cal Newport decided to really dig into that question. And what he found, well, it pretty much flips one of the most common pieces of career advice completely on its head. Okay, so let's just dive right into the deep end. We've all heard it a million times. Follow your passion. Find that one thing you were born to do and you'll never work a day in your life. Sounds great, doesn't it? But what Newport's research shows, and a lot of other evidence too, is that for most of us, this is actually, well, it's terrible advice. It might be the very thing that's holding you back from a career you could truly love. So Newport started out by interviewing people who were genuinely, deeply passionate about their jobs. And here's the thing that totally surprised him. Almost none of them started out with some pre-existing passion for that field. No, their passion grew over time right alongside their skill and their experience. The passion didn't come first, it came after they got really good at what they did.
And hey, there's hard data to back this up. A big study by a Yale researcher named Amy Wrzesniewski looked into who feels like their work is a true calling. And the findings were pretty astonishing. Turns out the type of job didn't really matter at all. A college administrator with a decade of experience was just as likely to be passionate about their work as a doctor with a decade of experience. So the crucial factor wasn't the job title, it was the time and the skill they'd invested in it.
Okay, so if just finding a passion upfront isn't the key, then what is? Well, the research points to a few very specific traits that make work deeply satisfying. It turns out loving what you do has a lot less to do with what you're doing and a whole lot more to do with how you're doing it. Let's break down the three things that really, really matter. It really boils down to these three things. First, creativity. And we're not just talking about being an artist. We're talking about having the freedom to solve problems your way. Second is control, or autonomy, having a real say in how and when you get your work done. And finally, impact, that basic human need to feel like your work actually makes a positive difference for other people. When you've got these three things, passion almost always follows. But without them, even a so-called dream job can feel pretty hollow. All right, so we all want creativity, control, and impact. Sounds simple enough, right? Not so fast. Here's the catch. These traits are incredibly rare and valuable in the professional world, and you can't just expect an employer to hand them over to you. You've got to earn them. When you think about it, it really just comes down to basic economics. If you want something of high value, like a career with those amazing traits, you need to have something of high value to offer in exchange. And in the working world, that valuable thing is your skill set, your unique, hard-won abilities. That's your currency. And this brings us to the real heart of the solution that Newport proposes. He says we need to ditch what he calls the passion mindset, and instead we need to adopt the craftsman mindset. And this is a total fundamental shift in how you look at your job and your career. Now, the difference between these two mindsets is just huge. The passion mindset is totally self-focused. It's always asking, what is this job doing for me? Do I love this? And that just leads to endless frustration and job hopping. The craftsman mindset, on the other hand, is focused on value. It asks, what can I offer? How can I get better at this and create something valuable? This whole approach forces you to build rare and valuable skills, and that is the real foundation of an amazing career. So, how do you actually do this? How do you put this craftsman mindset into practice? Because it's not just about, working hard. It's about working smart on the right things. Newport lays out two key steps. Okay, step one. You have to actively seek out the hard projects, the ones that stretch your abilities and maybe even make you a little uncomfortable, because that's where rare skills are built. Then, step two. You have to embrace what's known as deliberate practice. This means pushing yourself just beyond your current comfort zone with intense focus, always looking for feedback so you can get better and better. Let me give you a real-world example. There was this designer, Joe Duffy, who was struggling to stand out at his company. So he started volunteering for the really difficult projects that everybody else avoided, specifically in international logo design. By tackling that niche, he developed a really rare skill. And pretty soon, he became the company's expert, the absolute go-to person for that kind of work. That right there is the craftsman mindset in action. And this is where it all comes together. All that hard work, building your craft, becoming uniquely valuable. It's not just for the sake of it. It is the direct path back to our original goal, finding work that you are truly, deeply passionate about. Because when you focus on building those rare and valuable skills, you start to build up what's called career capital. You gain leverage. You put yourself in a position to become so good, they can't ignore you. That career capital you've built up, that is your leverage. That's what allows you to start demanding the very traits we talked about earlier. You can start to shape your job to have more creativity, more control, and more impact. You literally earn the right to design a career that you love. So, the huge takeaway here is this: passion isn't something you just find out in the world, it's something you earn. It's the reward you get for your dedication and skill. It's the natural result of becoming so valuable that you can shape your work to have control, creativity, and impact. So maybe we should stop asking, what is my passion? And start asking, how can I become too good to ignore?